Welcome to the lair of the Batty Boffin.
Hi there Batty fans, time for a little more Pythagoras. Now in earlier videos we've looked at working out the longest side using some of the shorter sides, and we checked it with scale drawing. Well, we're going to do another one of those now, but with some numbers that you might not know the square roots for. So again, you're going to need to draw out a triangle, and for this one we're going to have a side A, one of these short sides at the bottom here, as being 5 centimetres, and then at right angles to it, the tall side B we're going to have as 12 centimetres. Now be as accurate as you can. Draw in line C, but don't measure it yet. So now's time to pause the video and draw out that triangle. Lovely, we've got your triangle, so now we're going to use Pythagoras to work out what the length of C should be, and then we're going to measure it to check that we're right. Hopefully you've seen Pythagoras before. Pythagoras says that if A squared and B squared, add them together, what you get is C squared. So that's the length of A squared plus the length of B squared, and when you add them you get the length of C squared. So now we've got to fill in some of our numbers. So what you're going to do now is, please, when you pause the video, write out Pythagoras and then underneath write it out with the numbers in. C, you can just leave a C because we don't know that yet. So pause the video and fill in some values. Okay, you should have something that looks like this. 5 squared plus 12 squared equals C squared. Okay, so now we're going to fill in some of those values. 5 squared is 25. 12 squared, 12 twelves. Well, you either know that one, or you'll need to work it out by multiplying, or you can use the squared button on your calculator. For some calculators, you're going to put it in like that. Other buttons, it might look like, might have a block with a little 2 or something like that, depends on what your calculator is. Whatever you put in, you should get the answer of 144, and that's equal to C squared. Okay, when you add 25 and 144, hopefully you should be okay on that. I'll just give you a second to work it out. We should have 169. 169 is C squared. Now, unless you happen to know your squares, you might not know what number you have to square to get 169, i.e. the square root of 169. What we're going to do, we need to square root both sides. And when we do, we get the square root of 169 is C. We need the square root of 169. Please don't halve it, that's not the same thing. You need the number that when you square it, you get 169. Right, that could be a bit tricky. So we fetch out our trusty calculator, and you're looking for the button that's marked like this. There'll be one on your calculator. On some calculators you'll put in 169 and then press the square root button. On other calculators it's the square root button first and then 169, and then you probably have to press equals. Generally it tends to be the calculators that have 2 lines of display that do it that way round, and the ones that have 1 line of display that do it that way round, but you just better check out on your calculator how to do it. So pause the video and work that out now, please. Right, hopefully your calculator gave you 13 as C, exactly 13. Check on your diagram, measure side C, you will find it is exactly 13 centimetres. If it isn't, check your drawing because it should be exactly 13 centimetres. And there you go with your second Pythagorean triangle.